Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome once again to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. As you know, I've been working on this mono hull from EcoMaster, and I'm going to do it up as the, was it the 1966 or 64? It was a Porsche RSK that ran at Riverside Raceway. So it'll be silver with 88 stickers on it. Anyway, I'm working on the cooling system. And I now have the cooling system complete. And one of my viewers who, for the sake of this discussion, I'll call him Jim. And Jim says, oh, you blasted through this thing real fast and, we'd want to see some close-ups. And I'm going to cut out of this in a few moments, and I'm going to give you some close-ups. So let me give you the overall. So I've got a gozinta here, and it comes up here and turns 90 degrees. Now I'm thinking, when I take the whole thing apart to paint it, I could possibly cut it off right here and have the tubing loop, but that's kind of a sharp angle and you run the risk of kinking it, because when this stuff gets too much of an angle, it'll kink like that. And so the straighter the runs are, so I may just leave it like this. I mean, it's a matter of form and function. It functions exactly like I want it to do. In terms of form, it looks kind of strange. It's just sort of growing out of there and unsupported, but it's solid. So I got the gozinta here, and it goes into the motor gozinta, and then the motor gozowta, and then it runs along here, and I made a 180-degree bend. So the tube goes to the hose goes to the metal tube 180 bend, and then there's another real short section of hose that connects it to the speed control. And then you're going to like this. The speed control, just the gozowta and the gozinta, and here's the gozowta. So yeah, I had to do a little sanding there, but this hull's getting painted, so all that's good. So I got the gozinta and the gozowta, and stand by, I'll give you some close-ups. Okay, boys and girls, here we are for the close-up. And here, let me get my pointer in here where I can see it. You can see right here, here's the motor mount. Here's the motor mount. And right where the motor mount meets the very bottom here of the hull, in that joint, that little crotch, that's where I drilled this hole for this pipe, and then I brought it in and turned it so I could have a fairly straight run here. And the same thing for the exit. The motor cooling exit is right. The motor cooling exit is right here at the tip of these tweezers, and the hull exit is right here. And there's your close-up. I don't know if you can see inside to where I did the 180-degree bend. Hello, can you see in there? No, you really can't. I'll show you when I pull the motor out to do the painting. There's some cool close-up stuff. There's another one of the motor tube going out, the exit there, and then over here, the water exit going out. There you go, close-ups. Now, back to our regular programming. Okay, boys and girls, back to our regular programming. Now, drilling this hole was a challenge because I wanted the pipe pointing at the speed control so you can see the pipe is perfectly level with the line of travel. And it's like, now, how the hell did he drill that? Well, let me tell you what I did. I took this carbon fiber tube and this extra long drill bit, which is just a little bit longer than this carbon fiber tube. And I inserted the drill bit into the tube, and along this straight step here, I taped this into place, and then with an electric drill and holding this very firmly, I very gently started the drill bit in there so it wouldn't deflect and go over this way. So I allowed it to take little cuts here as it cut into the end, and pretty soon I could just push on through. So that worked out really good, and it'll be a cool gozowta. So gozinta and gozowta. As you know, this is an interim project because I ordered one of those 22-inch hydroplane hulls, and it's going to be on a build over there using another new motor. And it'll either be a 2S or a 3S boat. Haven't decided yet. It could easily switch between the two because the motors will just drop in and drop out. So it could be a dual-powered boat. But anyway, since I've been on a car kick with the Ferrari and now the Porsche, and we're going with the country's colors, and I'm thinking, well, I should do something French. And the first thing that came into mind was a citron. 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 The French are lazy. They only pronounce the first half of their words. We call it a citron, but in French it's just citron. Citron. Something like that. I'm murdering French language. Anyway, I looked around at suitable French cars of the era, and I found the perfect modeling subject. Now, this is going to be a task for all of you to look up, but I'm going to do it as, and I think it was 1968, a French car called a Panhard, or spelled like Panhard, a Panhard. And this car, it ran at the 24 hours of Le Mans, or Le Mans. It ran at the 24 hours of Le Mans. And initially, it couldn't qualify because it had an 800cc, that's right, an 800cc motor, and it was too small to, allow it on the field with all the Porsches and Ferraris and such. So in order to get their little 850cc car qualified, they put a supercharger on it. And that, according to the rule book, added enough theoretical cubic inches that it now had 1,100 cc's, and it qualified for the 1.2 liter class, which was the smallest class. So anyway, what was remarkable about this car was it had the lowest coefficient of drag of any car that's ever been at Le Mans. up to and including today. So all these winged supercars that, Porsche and Ford and Renault and all those people were putting out, all these super fast things, this thing in 1960 whatever still had the lowest coefficient of drag. It looked like a little teardrop with two vertical fins. So I'm going to stick two vertical fins on that boat and do it up in blue with the roundels of number 44. And it'll be a Panhard, or the tribute to the Panhard. It'll be the lowest coefficient of drag with the smallest motor ever. So there you go, boys and girls. Go to Google and look up Panhard Le Mans. Until then, boys and girls, jet out.